Now that the prologue is done, let's enter the darkness and begin Chapter 1, The Quiet Forest. A knot before dawn. The RPG tier length prologue. If you think this is long, I hope you're ready for some Lost Belt chapters. I believe the day reset. It sure is. Back to Salem. So, let's go over the gimmick of Salem. Notice how everyone says power down. In Salem, all servants that you bring will be at half level for the entirety of the singularity. Enjoy your level 45s and or 50s or 40s. Have fun! Wait, this has as many pages as Babylonia? Really? Oh boy, this is verbose then. This is very verbose if that's true, because Salem doesn't have nearly as many battles as Babylonia. Well, chat, I'm ready for my voice to die.
Does this mean that we've made it inside? It looks like we're in a forest outside of Salem, sometime before daybreak. I mean, that is what we were trying for, but it's so dark even for night.
Is everyone all right? I'm still getting my bearings here. Sure doesn't feel too hospitable, though. I'll tell you that much. I figured it'd be pitch black inside of the mist, but it's actually a lot brighter than I thought.
I'm impressed, Robin. I should have known that you'd have great night vision. I can barely see a thing. Do you think that you could take guard duty?
Yep, you got it. I'll check our watches against the stars later to make sure that we're all synced up, too. Well, that didn't take long. I've already got eyes on someone suspicious. Looks like a guy, but that's a witch if I ever saw one. Just look at his beady, evil eyes. Are you talking about me? That's rich. If I were you, I'd hope no one mistakes me for a bandit and shoots me.
Now stop that, you two. You should at least try to act like performers. What if someone overheard you?
Good point. Wait, what the? Damn, you scared me. Oh, I know you. You're Crown Prince Neja, one of the newbies. You've been standing there so still that I mistook you for a wax doll.
Dolls lack capacity for thought. You show no sign of thought. Does that mean you are a doll?
Damn, fucking wrecked. Ouch, that's harsh. I guess I deserve that. Sorry, just forget I said anything. Is everyone here, Mash?
Just a moment, Senpai. Slowly but surely, my eyes are starting to adjust to the dark. Over there, is that... Medea, that is you, right? Could you come closer, please? We need to stick together right now. I know. Ray shifting. Whoever thought it was a good idea to combine magecraft and science. I don't think I'll ever get used to this feeling. Everyone, please make sure that you have all of your things, then we'll be on our way.
Okay, let's find the village. Man, I can't believe we're all stuck just walking. You'd think Da Vinci could have planned something a little more convenient. Besides, if we had a covered wagon to ride in, it'd go a long way towards helping the locals buy what we're selling. Yes, we'll just grab a horse and hook it up to the race shifting technology for our covered wagon. You really do love complaining, don't you? We were only able to bring a bare minimum of equipment we need. We'll just have to make do with what we've got. That's always how it is with race shifts. If we need anything else, then we procure it on site. Yeah, I know. We're traveling performers, so we don't have a whole lot to our names. I guess I should be honored that the Bard himself came up with our little bit of theater. Come to think of it, we ought to decide on a name for our merry band. Any ideas, Master?
I was wondering about that too. We should figure that out before we run into anyone.
Let's go with the Gouda Company. The Gouda Company, huh? Oh, that's great. What's so funny? It's not all that bad. You really don't have any manners, do you? Oh, I'm sorry. Was that a little too witty for you? I didn't know you great scholars were so hard-headed. I gotta say, though, don't you think that it's not all that bad is kind of condescending as praise goes? I didn't mean it like that, but now that you mention it... Hey, don't worry, I don't mind. I know what you meant. Thank you, Ringmaster. You're very kind.
Senpai, I can't help but notice that Robin and Sanson are always at each other's throats.
Well, one's the poster boy for Irreverence, and one of them is basically Mr. Reverence. Whatever. I know we prepared for it, but it's not like we're for sure gonna put on a play. I'd just as soon not cross that bridge if I don't have to. I hope that Matahari is in some sort of disguise that they just didn't take the time to draw, because if she's going around in that outfit into puritanical Salem, that ain't gonna end well.
Don't worry, I could always entertain with my dancing. Besides, we also have two beautiful stars right here, right? Me? I know that Neja is an important character in many Chinese operas, like Journey to the West, but... You're not also talking about me, are you? I sure am. If I have to, I'll even bring Master up on stage.
I can hear the sweet sound of applause now.
Senpai? If that is your wish, Master, I shall do my best. I believe the expression is, knock them dead?
That doesn't mean actually kill them. It's all pretend, got it? So don't go shooting at us or the audience. Oh, and there's one more thing I want to make sure of. I get we're gonna try to explain away our outfits as being performers' costumes, but... Isn't it gonna be a problem that we've got some obviously Asian people here with us? Apparently, their outfits are just what they're wearing. That's not gonna go well.
I think that we should be okay there. I was concerned about how Senpai would be received here, so I checked our historical records. The late 17th century was also the tail end of the Age of Exploration. At the time, most of the interest in colonization had moved to the New World. But Europe already had a strong connection to Asia thanks to the East India Trading Company. They regularly imported spices from Southeast Asia, textiles from India, and tea and ceramics from China. So since Salem was a British colony and would later go on to be a thriving port town with lots of trade, the people here may not exactly see Asians every day, but they also shouldn't be so unusual that it would make them distrust us.
Huh, is that so? Figures that tea would be one of the great British Empire's 3 base desires.
Be that as it may, we should still prepare ourselves to be treated with prejudice.
Indeed, and what's more, we do not know for sure that the culture here is the same as 17th century Salem from our history or not.
By the way, Gouda, is there a way for us to contact Chaldea here? Huh? You mean our communications devices? Didn't Da Vinci explain all of this to us herself, Medea? I was present as an assistant myself, but I was preoccupied with making sure Senpai didn't nod off. Yes, of course, I just wanted to review the information given how important it is.
We can never return to Chaldea ever again.
Huh? You're kidding, right? Don't tell me that we're stuck here forever. Yes, he's kidding. Ah, Senpai. I have a special device for that purpose, though it will take time to set up. So we won't be able to report our safe arrival back to Chaldea until this is done. Can anyone at all use that device? No, only Senpai. Ordinarily, this area wouldn't permit any kind of magical communication at all. But I was told that we can get around that by linking the key mechanism to Senpai's command spells. Since Senpai has a strong connection to all of the servants still at Chaldea. However, this method makes use of a back door, a byproduct of sorts that happens when Sheba acts up.
After rolling for Astolfo, I have much information about making use of a backdoor. Oh!
So I believe that this will only be used for this particular ray shift. That being said, it's not as though we're pressed for time. The important thing is that our ray shift here was successful. I see. They really thought this through. Is there something important that you need to contact Chaldea about? No, I was just curious.
Hold it. I see light up ahead. It's a campfire.
Oh? What does this mean we're already at the center of Salem?
I doubt it. If that were the case, we'd be seeing fields long before even a hint of houses. There's a fair few people. I can hear them chattering amongst themselves. We ought to keep out of sight and move in for a closer look.
Do you all have your white ash branches? These are our magic wands. Now it's time to rap on the door. Tap it 3 times against the earth, against the invisible door. Tap, 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 tap. This door leads to the world beyond, and once it's open, a spirit will appear and gift us with a prophecy. What sort of prophecy, Abby? It'll tell you things about the future you desire, the boy of your dreams, and also, glimpses of a far, far away world that's nothing like our own. The spirit will whisper what you must do to make your dreams come true. I want a dress that's even whiter than snow, something that's sure to catch his eye. I want to be a brunette, with hair dark as raven's feathers. I want to know who I'm gonna marry one day. Yeah! Okay then, everyone. Make your wish as you throw your wands into the fire. Shall we sing Tituba's magic spell too? Yeah, let's!
Okay, what the hell is all that? They look like they're girls from the village, but they're all acting, well, crazy.
Aww, look how much fun they're having dancing. I wish that I could join her.
But what are girls that young doing out this late at night? Could it be a trap, or some sort of magecraft ritual? Do you sense any magical energy, Medea?
No, but this is bad. Very bad.
This is lore inaccurate? That's true. They should be dancing fully nude and offering their bodies to demons.
What is? If anything, the opposite. I sense nothing since we came here. Our magecraft has been severely weakened. Here, let me prove it. Robin, Sanson, Dancing Girl, can you change into your spirit forms?
No, I can't. What's going on here?
Oh no, are you no longer servants? Don't tell me you've been incarnated.
No, that's not what this is. It feels more like I've been crammed into a temporary human body than anything. Wondering if Nezha is a boy or a girl? Nezha is a female automaton body that has the mind of a male in it. So, yes. To answer that question. I thought the Spiritron conversion felt a little weird, even after the race shift. Man, this is gonna be a real pain in the ass. Who goes there? Aw, yeah, the other best girl. Who are you? Robin, lower your bow, it's just a child. Damn it, I let my guard down when we got here. If she overheard what we were just talking about... Hey there, young lady. What brings you out here?
You're outsiders. Senpai.
Keep calm and act troopish. Are those girls over there friends of yours?
Friends? I don't have any friends.
Hello there. I'm sorry if we startled you, as you saw that scene's not yet ready for the performance. But don't worry, we're not.
That accent. Are you a French soldier? A fugitive?
He's French, I know, but he said hello there, so I'm giving him a Cockney accent and you can't stop me.
I have to get out of here. Uh-oh, she ran off into the woods.
You there.
Sanson, Mash, wait. We can deal with her later. Something's going on near the campfire. Master! Master? Ah! Stay together, everyone. They'll pick you off if we get separated. What's going on? Why are there wild beasts so close to the village? Come on, Abby, let's get out of here. Wait, let me get a piece of firewood, otherwise... We have to stay together, get back! Kya! Huh?
Man, these New World beasties sure are rowdy.
Who are you?
Just an old dummy who didn't realize he'd been surrounded by wild beasts, young lady. Oh, too bad none of them seem like they'd make a good dinner. Hell, they look hungrier than we are.
Demonic presence. These beasts. Beasts no longer.
Ringmaster. You don't mind if we throw down with these things, right?
Wait, Ringmaster, we need to help these girls first.
Can't have these things acquiring a taste for people. Get out front, Sanson, and watch your back. You really have no shame, do you?
Good. Argue amongst yourselves. Meanwhile, I will defeat them.
Neja's gonna be on the Ushiwakamaru path to try and gain head pats by winning fights. Did Neja just show up one day? Yeah, kinda.
怖い顔堪忍しとくれやす。
じゃあこういうのどうだ？
キル行くよ。堪忍だ。そら。
つまんない連中だな。他にやることないの？
キル行くよ。ぼちぼち。シャープ。
じゃあこういうのどうだ？
そないに高ぶるわ。そないに高ぶるわ。
Let's make delicious booze out of these
大葉
monsters.
堪忍だ。死にはったらよろしおす。戦士万行身辺気取り。あれ。思う存分解体させてね。
Yeah. And done. I'll go ahead with Master. You guys finish up here. What's going on here? It's lucky that these creatures weren't too strong, but...
It seems our strength has been halved.
Indeed. This strange false incarnation has more dire effects than I thought. At this point, we may as well be human. We might be in for some tough battles down the road.
Yes, it is difficult. But worry not, Sanson. The Buddha always watches and protects in forsaken lands.
That's very reassuring, Neja. How did it feel to you, Medea? Oh wait, did you sit that battle out?
So it only affects combat.
What is it, Medea? Don't tell me you're upset that we beat them before you could.
True, we may have overdone it. That albino girl saw us fighting.
I see, that could be very bad.
Do we silence her?
Be careful how you say things, Neja. I'm merely worried about one of those beasts attacking her. I'm going to take a look around.
Okay, I'll examine these beasts in the meantime.
Damn, Neja. Do we silence the child? Jeez.
Are you alright, Senpai? Senpai? Oh, I mean... Thank you for helping us. We couldn't have escaped from those mean beasts otherwise. You saved our lives.
Sanson, Neja, and Medea are putting out the campfire. They'll be here soon.
Oh goodness. Are you okay? Here, I've got you. I'm sorry. Now that we're out of danger, I was just so relieved that my legs gave out.
I'm Gouda. Can I ask your name?
Gouda. Of course. I'm Abigail. I live here in Salem. Who are you people? You don't look like sailors or merchants. We almost never get pilgrims or travelers here, and you're all wearing such strange clothes. We're the Gouda Company, a band of traveling performers. This is Gouda. He may be young, but he's still the ringmaster our troupe is named after. We've gotten lost on our way to Salem, and we ended up here in the woods. Performers! Oh wow! So you mean you've come all this way from Boston? That's wonderful! I've never seen a real play before. Everyone's going to be so happy!
By the way, do you know today's date, Abigail?
Oh, please call me Abby, Mr. Ringmaster. Today's date... Well, it's already past midnight, so that would make it April 21st. Yesterday was the Sabbath. The year 2? Oh, it's the year of the Lord 1692. 1692. Of all the years to come to Salem.
Abigail, who are these people?
Oh, Uncle.
I don't know what you were thinking, taking the other children out into the woods in the middle of the night. But I will deal with that later.
Yes, Uncle. As for these people, Uncle, they're...
Well now, traveling performers, The other girls tell me you've saved them from a pack of wild beasts. And you are the troupe's ringmaster, a Mr. Gouda. You must let me express my thanks. Let's see. It would be quite difficult to find a decent inn in Salem at this hour. And I can't have such upstanding young men and women staying in the same flophouse as those ruffians from the wharf. Those ruffians. Why don't you all come stay at my home, if that would be all right with you? That sounds great, thank you.
Wow! Do you mean it, Uncle? That's wonderful! It's the best news I've heard in my whole life!
That is enough, Abigail. You put all of your friends in terrible danger. Once we get home, you will go straight to your room. You will have only water tomorrow for your breakfast and lunch. And of course, you are forbidden to speak to our guests until I give you permission. And of course, most importantly, at this time, I'm gonna whip your ass with a switch. In case you don't know what a switch is, it is a shaved branch so that it has better aerodynamics to better whip your ass with.
Okay, I understand. I'll do as you say.
Oh yes, I still have not introduced myself. I am Randolph Carter, a scholar. I adopted Abigail as my own daughter after her parents, my sister and her husband, passed away. Now then, it's getting rather chilly and we can talk more tomorrow. You'll feel much better after you've rested up from your journey in a nice warm bed. I'll have Tituba fix you something to eat too. Tituba. I'll have Tituba fix you something. Uh-oh. Are we going to slavery? I mean, it would make sense. It's 1692. They're slaves. Let's head to the Carter residence and find out. That's an outfit.
There we go.
What is her voice like again, so I can poorly imitate it? Give me 1 second, guys. It's very important that I very poorly imitate this voice.
Hi, 出ました。ひとまずはミドラーシュのキャスターとお呼びくださいませ。お役に立ちますよ。
Okay. That's about what I expected from reading dialogue for her. Since I've never used her before, I've only faced her in the Battle for New York fight. Look at her, she has the fucking Millennium Eye on her neck.
Thank you for fetching the water, Tituba. I guess that that will be my lunch today. Aww. Aww. Please cheer up, Miss Abby. And where are our guests? Inside. Uncle went off to see the Reverend. I'm sure that I'll be scolded again later. I see. I'm sorry to hear that.
So she's disguising herself as a slave or indentured servant. Slave with a different name, I guess. How are the comms coming along, Mash? I'm just gonna go ahead and say that she's wearing some sort of disguise, and they just didn't make a disguise for the sprites. We'll just go ahead and say that that's what's going on, because if they were walking around in those outfits, they wouldn't be walking around for long. We'll even say Mata Hari is wearing an outfit, just a modern outfit, as opposed to a dancer's outfit.
I double-checked everything, Senpai, but I'm afraid...
It's not working. Well, that's not good. I guess not even Da Vinci's inventions always work perfectly. Neja, try swallowing your oatmeal before you speak. Come to think of it, weren't you supposed to be, you know, smarter? Because stuffing your face when you're a guest in someone's home isn't really a good look, you know? Especially when it's in a village that doesn't exactly seem to be overflowing with wealth. Besides, oats are for horses, not people.
I could do a much better job of preparing this dish even with the same ingredients. This village just doesn't have the luxury of caring about food.
I do feel hunger in this body. It must be an effect of this false incarnation. Of course, I expect we would be regarded with suspicion if we were never seen eating.
Try not to be so uptight about it. It'll make things a lot easier if we go around playing up our image as a bunch of weirdos. I was actually able to check out the entire village. I also spread word about our troop a bit, so make sure you guys play along. You've already finished investigating the area. It's not even afternoon yet.
She's literally an assassin famous for overt missions, so makes sense. Way to go, sis. Like you always say, first things first. So what is the story with this village?
Like Abby said, this is definitely Salem in 1692. All the villagers' stories line up. They're Puritans who originally hail from England. Most of them are farmers, fishers, and hunters, but there's also blacksmiths and cloth dryers, and not to mention the Reverend. They're all industrious colonists who wake up with the sun and spend their days hard at work. There are a number of warehouses at the wharf with boats headed for England and the West Indies. Huh? But that doesn't line up with our history. Salem didn't get a major wharf until... Did you say boats? As in sailors? Medea? I mean, ahem. That certainly makes sense, given that this is a port town.
You kinda seemed like Lily for a moment there.
Don't lump me in with that child. I guess there must have been an error in Sheba's observations, but still... I did notice other deviations from our history, too. People still live their lives here like they did in our own late 17th century, but they're not all the same people. There are lots of folks here who weren't on the list of Salem's original residents. I haven't yet managed to figure out what it is that they have in common, though.
I see. I guess that means that this isn't the Salem of our past. Well, for my part, I scoped out the local topography around Sunrise. And while the distinctive topography and architecture is still all there, the rest seems kind of off. There's a bunch of stuff that doesn't line up, with the historical files that Caldia gave us at least. Then, as we suspected, the village is actually a cunningly crafted fake. So whoever built this place is only using 17th century Salem as a cover, and has swapped out both the buildings and the citizens. Does this mean there's major historical change on par with the singularity from the incineration of humanity taking place? What about the people living in modern Salem?
Well, that's just it. There can't be more than 16, maybe 1,700 people here.
And I didn't see any place that could be used to keep the 50,000 people who disappeared.
50,000 people? I wonder where they could have gone. And that's not our only major problem. There's also the witch trials. In our own history, 1692 was the very year when the accusations that started the witch trials began. This is a peaceful village, or at least it looked that way on the surface. But I did also see farmers arguing pretty fiercely about who owned certain lands. They looked like they were nursing some major frustrations underneath their pious exteriors. I don't blame the girls here for wanting to step out and let their hair down for a bit like they did last night.
I took a peek at their grain stores, and it didn't look like they had much to spare. They must have had a string of poor crops. Seemed to me like they just barely made it through the winter. This house just happens to be on the more prosperous side. There aren't many homes here that could accommodate guests.
And for that matter, what if the images we got from Sheba were falsified? I can't deny that that's a possibility, but... Ara, are you already discussing your next performance? I hope that means that you've slept well, honored guests. Oh, Tituba, correct? That's right. My name is Tituba. I'm Mr. Carter's servant.
Servant.
A servant? Her?
I apologize for prying, Tituba, but may I ask?
You wish to know where I'm from? I was born on the island of Barbados in the Caribbean. A lot of people like me were. I may work for Mr. Carter now, but I used to work for Miss Abby's father. We were told that Abigail's parents passed away. That's right. They were both killed by native people in the forest. Miss Abby was very sad about it for a long time. I felt terrible for her. I don't know what would have become of her if her uncle hadn't come along. She's doing much better these days. It's wonderful to see her smiling and happy again, but now I hear she was nearly killed by wild beasts in the woods. She must have been frightened out of her mind. Killed by the natives. Native Americans. So this is why Geronimo said he would be putting Master in unnecessary danger if he came along.
Most people'd be pretty wary of outsiders after having their parents killed. But not her. She still seems real trusting.
Why, yes, she is a very kind girl. She even goes out of her way to talk to servants like myself.
I hope you don't mind if we ask another question. Last night there was another girl besides Abigail's friends who...
Oh, would you look at the time? I'm so sorry, but I need to get back to work. I hope you enjoy your stay. Thanks for the food. Master, a word if you don't mind. What do you make of that servant?
She seems nice.
Oh? That was not the impression that I took from her. Is something wrong, Medea? It's not safe to stay here. This place is being subjected to something more powerful than we realize.
Really? I'd say this place brings back some nice memories. The wind whistling through the gaps in the walls, the sour smell of horse shit, the head-splitting sound of church bells, the bland, pasty food, the boring British small talk. Those hardly sound like pleasant memories. At any rate, don't forget that we have a duty to help those missing 50,000 people, Robin. All right, sorry, I almost forgot about Frog Legs here hopping along after us. Would you care to say that again?
Now don't start that again, you two. Tituba didn't do anything wrong. Why are you doing this? I think that came from outside.
That was Abby's voice. I guess the head of the house is back. Step aside, Abigail.
I'm the one who deserves to be punished, Uncle, not her. Didn't you say that yourself? Miss Abby.
The other girls and their parents say otherwise. They say that Tituba taught you a heretical ritual, and that you all snuck out last night to attempt it. I had them promise to keep quiet about it, so that rumors don't spread around the village. What in the world were you doing in the forest in the middle of the night, Abigail? Is something wrong, Mr. Carter? Mr. Gouda, I'm afraid my niece was doing something even worse than I believed last night. Unfortunately, I can no longer permit her to attend your production.
What? But that's not fair.
Come on, we were all kids once, right? This is no mere mischief to be simply excused. It is fortunate you were there to ensure no one was hurt. But Tituba must be punished, and harshly, for filling the children's heads with this nonsense. She will no longer be permitted to be in their company.
Punished? No, Uncle, please. She only told me because I begged her to. Please, Uncle. Please punish me instead. I'll take whatever punishment you see fit, even lashes, so please. It's okay, Miss Abby. It'll be all right. If I may, Mr. Carter, I understand how frustrating it must be to have a young girl under your charge running off at night. You must have been worried sick about Abby to have come so deep into the woods searching for her. That said, I know that wild beasts sometimes go after livestock, but I thought that they usually stayed away from people these days.
That's true, but it's not just beasts we need to worry about. That nearby forest is very dangerous. Some even say that this land is cursed, that God himself has forsaken our village. Abigail.
Abigail! She just ran off. Mr. Carter.
Leave her be. As for you, Tituba, you are no longer to talk about your hometown, no matter how much the other girls beg you. Is that clear?
Yes, Mr. Carter. I promise I won't do it again. I'm so sorry about this. What should we do, Senpai?
Oh, we need to look for clues about the demon god. I think that's our first order of business.
I couldn't agree more. Something is definitely happening here. I see. So we'll split up into teams and investigate the village further. Understood?
Our goal is to find someone trustworthy. All right, Neja, what do you say we go check out the ocean?
Detection ability. Full power. I'll stay in Mr. Carter's house, Master. It'd be dangerous to go around dressed like this anyway. And there's something nagging me about Tituba. I'll keep an eye on Mr. Carter too while I'm at it.
Got it. Sounds good. Chat, you were not wrong. This is very verbose. Very verbose indeed. This quest has no battles. Let's go. I hope you're enjoying Fate Grand Order as directed by Hideo Kojima. The cutscenes will end in 10 more hours. Those must be the traveling performers. What were they thinking coming all this way to perform in a village like this?
What a disgraceful outfit. I could never let my child see that. I hope they put on a play about a romance between aristocrats. Hi there, young man. I hope you'll come see the Gouda Company perform.
I thought I was used to being stared at, but this is something altogether different.
Remember, we're supposed to be entertainers now, so you can't get angry no matter what they say to you.
I know, but I can't help being French.
I'm just as out of place here. Besides, you can pass as an educated gentleman as long as you keep quiet. In my case, I just come across as a Roma who came to the New World to make my fortune. These villagers may not care for the British Army, but they don't have much love for the French either. In fact, this British settlement and France are currently at odds with one another. Only 40 miles north, the French army led Native Americans against a northern British colony, completely wiping it out.
Naturally, the British retaliated, and the respective colonies ended up fighting a fearsome battle. The competition for resources is fierce between colonies. War is all but inevitable. Truth be told, my great-grandfather, the first head of our family, was part of the French colonial army himself. He was deployed to Canada, but he must have taken part in skirmishes around this area as well.
I see. No wonder you have such complex feelings about this place. Retaliation after retaliation, soldiers sacrificing their lives to avenge the loss of their comrades. Is that why you and Robin are always arguing? You really should stop taking shots at him.
You're barking up the wrong tree there. He's the one who keeps provoking me.
And you're at least partially to blame for that. As long as you're going to be working together, you'll need to find ways to get along. Sometimes other people just have their own way of doing things, and that's okay.
I'm trying to be as accommodating as I can. Oh? Isn't that...
Yes, that's the girl that we saw last night. I've been looking for her too.
Aw, yeah. I can't believe a Waitley is out and about in broad daylight. You've got a lot of nerve coming out now when you never show your face at church.
I'm just going to buy whale oil.
Whale oil? And just what are you gonna do with that? Are you gonna use it for another blasphemous spell, or... Pardon me, has this girl wronged you somehow? Who are you? Oh, you're one of those traveling performers. That's right, my name is Sanson. A pleasure to make your acquaintance. Tell me, what possible use would this girl have for oil besides lighting a lantern? What could she possibly have done to warrant such treatment? What business is it of yours?
Charles, we just talked about this.
Are you threatening me? No, that was not my intention. I apologize if I offended you. What a strange man. Fucking piece of shit. Go fall off your horse, asshole.
He's gone now. Well, I guess that worked out in the end.
So, you do live in this village.
The fugitive from last night. Your performers.
That's right. I'm sorry for frightening you.
She hasn't let her guard down at all. Would you mind if we asked you about what happened last night? Anything you can tell us would be a big help. That really surprised us seeing something like that happen right after we got here. Did Abby say something to you?
Oh, so you're a friend of Abigail's. Well, that makes this easier.
Stop it. Nobody's friends with me. Lavinia. My name is Lavinia Waitley.
Make her a servant so I can hug her and pat her head.
Everyone in Salem knows my family and hates them. Did you think that old man was just yelling at me for no reason? He wasn't. The whole village hates what we're doing. I don't blame them.
So your family is tying you down. I'm Charles Henry Sanson. I may be French, but I'm not your enemy.
Are you defending me? Why are you being nice to me? Is it because of how I look? I'm an albino, a freak, a living skeleton.
All your albinism means is that you were born without enough melanin. That's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just a part of who you are. I don't find it ugly at all. However, it would behoove you to eat better, if you don't mind me saying so.
You're an idiot. If you want your show to succeed here, you should stay away from me.
We would never charge admission to children. Isn't that right, Matahari?
Of course not. We hope to see you at our show, Lavinia. If you like, we'd even be happy to provide a seat where you can watch in privacy without worrying about the rest of the audience. Then, I just have one request. What's that? Don't tell Abby I was there last night. If you do, I'll tell everyone else what I saw. I'll tell them you used magecraft to kill those beasts. I saw the whole thing. Why is she so certain about that?
So you wish us to keep your presence a secret from Abigail, do you? I can see that this is very important to you.
So, what will you do? Alright, we promise we won't tell her. Don't talk to me again, okay?
I'm afraid we can't promise that.
I guess we've got a problem on our hands.
Could an ordinary child be so unbothered by after seeing a fight like that? The Waitley family, huh? I think we'd better look into them as well.
That's all well and good, but you kind of looked to me like you cared more about her than her possible connection to the Demon God Pillar. Are you sure that we can trust her?
I am, yes.
Really now? Well, never mind that for the time being. Let's go report this to Master. I wonder how Robin and the others are doing. Robin, suggestion. Listen.
And what is it, Prince Neja? If you got something secret to tell me, make it quick. Because there's a sweet little tavern over there with my name on it.
On duty. Drink not, want not. I mean, Robin, listen, have suggestion.
Yeah. What is it already?
This area, strange, unrealistic. Therefore, no sense in sneaking. We capture villagers, question them individually. Rational, efficient. We can handle anyone who resists. Concern unnecessary.
Aha, I see. No wonder you were casting a period piece.
Naturally.
So you're kinda chafing under the whole slow, methodical investigation thing, yeah? I don't blame you. If we wanted to run in and start throwing our weight around to find out what we're looking for quickly, we could do that. We are servants, and they're just ordinary people. They'd be way easier to handle than monsters. That said, I won't pretend like I've got everything all figured out, but even though we can feel the runaway Demon God Pillar's aura all around us, we're still trying to figure out what's really going on here. You still haven't been at Caldia all that long. You weren't with us traveling back in time during the restoration of humanity. Back then, we had to be real careful not to interfere too much, or we could have ended up changing history. There's little chance of that happening here, but we've still had to be careful. Careful not to bring along anything that didn't exist in this time so we could get in here to begin with. And we're dealing with this false incarnation nonsense weakening us. If we had just stormed in and made enemies of the whole town, we might have wound up dead. They could have brought a whole militia against us or something. We always had the option of brute force where necessary in other singularities, but here I think that might actually be the worst thing that we could do. I'm pretty sure Master's picked up on this too, you know? If you were to ask him, he'd tell you that violence isn't the answer here in Salem. It's kinda like we're trying to make our way through dense fog with someone else holding onto our lifeline. Don't know about you, but I sure don't want to accidentally break one of this world's rules so that we don't yet know about and just get knocked right off the stage. As long as we don't know who we're up against, it's best to act like each step could be our last. Besides, we're out here trying to keep these people safe, remember? This is a peaceful village of innocent people. We have no call to go around hurting them, right?
Pondering. Reconsidering. Understood. We'll play along.
Really? Awesome. Good to see you can listen, unlike a certain frog I could mention. Right then, let's go try some of that Caribbean imported rum.
No drinking. Hinders investigation. Out of the question.
Come on, you're kidding, right? Don't get all straight-laced on me now, Your Highness.
So the sea is right past those wheat fields. This whole area must be grassland. I read that land like this that's shared and managed by the whole village is called a common here. This should be the side that Abby ran off to. I wonder where she could be now. By the way, Senpai. Did you think that there was something a little strange about Medea? I thought I was just imagining things before race shifted, but now...
Yeah, she was acting kind of strange.
So then you thought so too. She just doesn't seem like herself somehow. At first I thought that she might just be upset about how he asked her to come to a place that's best known for its witch trials. But then she was eager to help me set up the comms device last night. I'm just not sure what to think anymore.
I'll see what I can find out. I bet that if I spend the night grilling her with vigorous, rigorous questions, she'll open up to me.
Okay, thank you, Senpai. Of course, I hope that I'm not wrong about this. Or I hope that I am wrong about this. We made it through the bounded field and into Salem. And no matter how peaceful the scenery may be, this is still enemy territory. It's eminently possible that we've played into their hands without realizing it.
Look, there's a gold rabbit hopping around.
Huh? Where did that come from? A gold rabbit? Where? Wait, that's not a gold rabbit. That's just golden hair. It's Abby! Don't tease me like that, Senpai.
Sup, Dabigail?
Oh, hello, Mr. Ringmaster. Hello, Mash. Did you come all this way looking for me? I'm sorry for running off like that. I promise I'll go home soon. I would just like to stay out here a little longer. Abby. I'm sorry I made someone as wonderful and nice as you worry, Mash. I know it was all my fault. And I know that Uncle is just being sensible. He's completely right. I was thoughtless and I put all of my friends in danger. I even ended up getting Tatuba in awful trouble when she didn't do anything wrong. And after she told me such wonderful tales from her homeland, too. After all that, I shouldn't be allowed to just watch your show like I did nothing wrong. I don't know what to say to her. Is there any way that we can cheer her up, Senpai?
Why don't we take a walk?
A walk? Okay. I do love going on walks. There's a path to the beach down that hill over there. The wind's not too cold today, so I bet it's perfect weather for a walk. It is pretty nice out, right?
Note, Abigail likes long walks on the beach.
Yes, it's lovely. Oh, I almost forgot. Uncle said I'm not supposed to talk to the guests.
What about talking to friends?
Oh yes, that's a wonderful idea. You're fun, Mr. Ringmaster.
What are some of your favorite things, Abby? Preferably tell me in song.
My favorite things?
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things.
I'm so glad you asked, Mr. Ringmaster. I have so many it's hard to keep track. Let's see. One of them is definitely pancakes. I adore fluffy pancakes with lots of butter and crispy bacon on top. Oh, and more than anything, I love mashed potatoes covered with piping hot gravy. There's nothing better than that.
That makes me hungry.
That does sound incredibly delicious. Gravy, huh? I've heard of it before, but I've never actually had it. What's it like? Oh goodness! Mash, you've never had gravy before. Do they not make it in Europe? It's a scrumptious sauce made using the juices from cooked meat. The grown-ups all like to put it on turkey and steak, but I really love it on potatoes.
Gravy's really good on potatoes, chat. Especially mashed potatoes. We should get some gravy and put it on our resident mashed potato, and then eat it off of it. I mean, what?
It's not the kind of thing that you get to have every day either. You've only got to enjoy it on Thanksgiving. It's too bad that you and the rest of the Gouda Company didn't come during a holiday, Mr. Ringmaster. It has been a while since we celebrated anything, though. I see. I'm sorry to hear that. Still, the meal that Tituba made for us was, very good in its own right. I'd never have porridge before, so it was quite, novel. It's okay, Mash. It's okay, Mash, I understand. You don't have to be quite so polite. Tituba does the best that she can with what little we have. But I know that the porridge isn't something seasoned travelers like you would really love. I'm sorry, I guess that you saw right through me. And Tituba cares a lot about being frugal, though I'm not sure why. Maybe it has to do with her own beliefs. So when she makes porridge, she'll water down the milk and skimp a lot on the honey.
Dan's game.
I'm not sure if Uncle just doesn't mind or if he likes how she saves him money, but he never says a word about it. Oh, there's so many things that Salem is missing.
Do you like this village, Abby?
Oh, you want to know how I feel about Salem? Well, nobody's ever asked that before. I'm not quite sure how to answer. Were you born here, Abby? Yes, I was. There was a comet in the sky the year I was born. It was so big you could even see it during the day. I don't remember seeing it myself, but I'm sure it must have been a wonderful sight. Anyway, I'm sure that Salem pales in comparison to someplace like Boston. But even this town has a lot going for it. Uncle told me that its name comes from the word Jerusalem. You know all about Jerusalem, right? Every good Christian does.
Well, being that we're Japanese and probably Buddhist, if anything, we probably know quite a lot about it considering we've been to Camelot and everything, so.
It's the holy city that was once ruled by both King David and King Solomon.
Yeah, we know a little bit about that too.
The Knights of the Crusades headed east to find it, but our Pilgrim Fathers set sail for the west instead.
Yeah, we know a bit about that too.
When they arrived at the New World, they founded the towns of Plymouth, Boston, and Salem. It must have been really hard when they first arrived, but now ships come here from around the world. And you saw just how big our rye fields are, right? Can you believe that this all used to be woodland once? God was kind enough to let us put down roots and settle here. We're truly blessed. You're very proud about being part of a pioneer village, aren't you? Of course I am. It's where I was born and raised, after all. Isn't everyone proud of where they grew up? Yes, that's right. I think I can understand how you feel, if only a little. That is, this is how history was made, after all. Plus, at this time, New England is still a British colony and hadn't yet declared its independence as America.
Ash, now is not the time to talk about that in front of the child. Or in front of the anyone from this time period.
America? Who's that? Oh, I'm sorry. Just forget that I said anything. That's right, the people of Salem are still technically British, even if they did become colonists to seek their independence.
You're 100 years early, Mash.
I have to remember that they're not servants and don't have any modern-day knowledge. Have you ever been anywhere besides Salem, Abby? Well, no, not yet. I haven't left Salem in my whole life. Really, not even once. No, not even once. Everything I know about Boston I've heard from others. I'm sorry for misleading you. I just love hearing about other towns and other countries. Say, Mr. Ringmaster, you and your company have performed all over Europe and the colonies, right? What sort of show did you put on in Boston? Did you stop by Jamestown, too? Is it true that New York has stores where you can buy tea and porcelain from the Orient? Oh, I really wish that I could see your show, but since I can't, could you at least tell me about the different countries that you've been to? Would that be alright, Senpai?
Sure, we can't tell you everything, though. And I'll ask your uncle if you can attend, too.
Really? You would do that for me? Still, I really appreciate the thought, but it's okay. I don't mind that anymore. But if you insist, could you please help Tituba? She's not very good at defending herself. If Uncle gets forceful enough in his questioning, she might end up admitting to almost anything.
How do you feel about your uncle?
Uncle Carter is very responsible and quiet and strict. Everyone in the village is very pious, but I think they're also very stubborn and they don't like to admit when they've made a mistake. But when Uncle starts talking to them in his calm voice, they always seem to accept what he says. I see, so the other villagers really trust him, don't they? Yes, they do. He teaches at Harvard Divinity School in Boston, after all. He studies the Orient there. I don't really know quite what he researches, though. But he always has fascinating things to share about foreign countries. He's told me some really unusual stories about faraway lands, like the Qing Dynasty, I think, and the Mughal Empire, and a place called, Zipang? They're all so fascinating. I see. It sounds like your uncle is where your love for foreign countries came from, then. I guess he must be. Well, I do love hearing stories like that, but my favorite thing is when I tell them to my friends and let my imagination run wild.
Yes, the Zipang Island. Chat, for those of you that may not know, Zipang is an old, antiquated name for Japan.
I especially enjoy telling them to Lavinia. She's always so interested to hear them. Lavinia, is that a friend of yours? Yes, she's the same age as me, so she was also born in the year of the comet. She's the best. I always love talking with her. None of the other girls have much interest in foreign countries, so they only ever ask boring questions. But Lavinia loves to read, so she knows all sorts of things. Sometimes I even think that she knows more than Uncle. Sometimes we even come here and watch the sea together. But...
Did you and Lavinia have a fight or something?
yeah. This time you saw right through me, Mr. Ringmaster. I must have upset her somehow because lately she just won't talk to me. I asked her about it, but she just kept refusing to answer, so after a while I got upset too. But she's still my best, most cherished friend. Being apart has helped me realize that. I noticed there were a number of friends of yours at the secret gathering last night, though. Does that mean that Lavinia wasn't among them? I secretly sent her an invitation, but she never showed up. Just like I knew she wouldn't. I wonder, could that be the girl that we ran off into the forest? I talked to Tituba about this and she gave me some advice. She told me to be honest with myself and think about whether I'd done something to hurt her without thinking or meaning to. She recommended that I ask myself 3 questions.
And what were they?
First, have I pretended to be someone I'm not? Second, have I jumped to any conclusions about her? And third, have I been neglecting to pay attention to tomorrow because I'm still nursing a grudge from yesterday? Tituba said that. I see. After that, I realized that there were a lot of things that Lavinia could be angry at me for, and now I don't know what to apologize for first. May I say something? Does Lavinia have white hair and very pale skin? Yes, that's right. Have you already met her, Mash? Yes, I actually saw her in the forest last night. I guess I hadn't told you yet.
Uh-oh, Lavinia didn't want Abigail to know about that.
Really? Do you mean it? Then she showed up after all. I'm so glad. I'm just sorry I didn't notice that she was there. Well, now I have something else to apologize to her about.
Well, that's great news.
Huh? Right, I guess it is, isn't it? Some people tease her about the way she looks. Some go even further and say she looks downright sickly. But I think that she's beautiful. She looks just like a star fairy, don't you think? If you ever make fun of her, then I'll never forgive you. Don't worry, neither Senpai nor any of us would ever do that. Hey look, I can see a sailboat on the other side of the pasture. It sounds kind of heated over there. I can hear people shouting angrily. Did a new ship just dock? The sailors can be kind of rough. The wharf is just past this grassland, but... Senpai, that was a gunshot. It came from the direction of the wharf. I hope it's not a mutiny. It's the Indians! The Indians are attacking! Huh? From the sea?
I'll go hide and take a closer look.
Okay, Senpai. I'll be right behind you as soon as I've taken Abby somewhere safe. Abby, are you alright? Let's get you back to the village before... Abby... Outside... Can't go outside. Outside Salem... Nothing but pain and suffering. Everyone who comes from outside is...
Ah, you damn Oriental! Who do you think you are, pointing your blade at me? You ain't leaving here alive now until you get down on the floor and beg for mercy.
A blade? Preposterous, third-rate seaman. The true blade of my fire-tipped spear is red-hot flame. Your flimsy arms, will they continue to blunder? The next strike will be no mere scratch.
The hell? This wench is off her rocker. And where the hell'd she get that thing from anyway? That was amazing. Did you see her deflector shots? Was that magic? Are ye acrobats or something?
Not acrobat. I am martial artist.
Yeah. Sorry about this, gents. Would you mind putting away those scary-looking muskets and knives now? We were just trying to relax before our big show. I hope you can understand.
Oi! You're the one who started it!
And I absolutely understand you're upset. But can we just keep it cool since this is a tavern and all?
What's the big ideal, Nezha? What are you trying to pull here?
You would have me remain silent in the face of such shame.
Alright, what's going on here? Are you two fighting?
Indeed. Affirmative, of course. Now is the time. Let's slip the dogs of war.
Ringmaster. Glad to see someone else with their head on straight here. Go on, talk some sense into this idiot.
These seamen, the root of evil. Therefore, I shall cut them down, where they stand.
Oh yeah, you're still on about that, wench. If you're trying to draw in customers, you're doing a terrible job. And what are you supposed to be anyway? Another Oriental or something? That's right, I'm talking to ye. So you're the ringmaster, eh? What kind of company are you running, letting your freaks run wild like this?
Alright, so what exactly happened here anyway?
Please listen, master. To begin, once we entered this tavern, Matcha there sat at a gambling table, began drinking.
Hey now.
Whatever became of the mission? He lost at dice more and more, even demanded I bet our travel expenses.
Whoa, come on, keep that to yourself.
Nothing better to do, so I followed his example, joined him, gambling table. Had no idea what I was doing. Beer was so bad, it was undrinkable. Then, at my lowest moment, third-rate seaman gestured toward me, called me a prostitute, and began touching me near my waist. That I did not mind. He did treat me to some milk.
You didn't mind?
Next, he made me sit on his lap, told me to pour him another glass. That sort of frivolity I also did not mind.
Are you sure you didn't mind even a little?
I do not mind. However, this seaman remained in high spirits, yet as he kept drinking, burst into tears. He began to complain how sad my body is. Can you believe it? This body, given to me by Tai Yi Zhenren himself. How dare this man appraise this body as sad? How dare he? That's what bothered you about this?
That's about when I couldn't take anymore and tried to go smooth things over. According to that sailor, Neja's so light that he figured she wasn't eating well enough. And that got him thinking about the kid he left behind in his own country.
Yeah, that's right. You got a problem with that. So why the hell this wench of yours go and pull a weapon on me?
Don't think about it too much, young ringmaster. This guy's just a big old lecher. He was just trying to get your wench to feel sorry for him so he could take her to bed. He does it all the time. Sure ain't much fun to be had in a Puritan port town like this, after all. Yeah, neither we sailors nor you performers belong here, so we might as well get along. Alright, Robin, you were out of line. He'll apologize. Me? What did I do? Not keep a close enough eye on her? You gambled our money, sir. Yeah, alright. I had a feeling it might go this way.
What's going on? What was all the commotion about? I rushed here as fast as I could, but all I see now is people drinking happily. Come on, what happened here anyway?
Just a spirited conversation.
I see. I suppose I understand. I'm just glad that matters were resolved before they got out of hand.
Performers, eh? If the storm out in the bay keeps us stuck here, maybe we'll go see your show for ourselves.
A storm? Has there been a stretch of poor weather out in the bay? Is that why you're all hanging out in this tavern?
Yeah, you got it, Specs. I gotta say though, I'm surprised you even thought to come perform here in Salem at all. What sort of show you'll be putting on?
Oh, well, we were thinking of...
Hold it, all of you. I want to hear what you have to say too. They say you're going around telling everyone you're traveling performers. But I don't buy it.
Ringmaster, that guy's been sitting in the corner for a while now. He's one of the villagers, not a sailor.
I run a general store here in Salem. I've been to Boston a number of times, but I've never seen entertainers like you before. I know there's a lot of strange folk in the theater, but no one would ever come to Salem looking to get rich. Unless you're secretly up to some dirty, shameful business like that sailor said. For that matter, you're awfully young to be a troop leader. How many shows have you performed, anyway?
This will be our first.
What was that?
Whoa, it's not what it sounds like. She means this'll be our first time performing with our current members, naturally. Another problem on our hands, huh?
Senpai, I mean, Ringmaster, please let me handle this. I have some notes from Claudia for situations just like this. Sir, I can see that you care deeply about this town, and I understand your concerns. But I assure you that despite our appearances, we at the Gouda Company are good, God-fearing people. We may not be Puritans or Quakers, but we always perform with gratitude for all of God's blessings. We pray every day, and as long as there's a church nearby, we make it a point to attend Mass as well. On our way here, we heard about a village in New England that no other performers will go near. A village where good people live pious lives. A place that truly lives up to its name, the city upon a hill. As fellow Christians, we hope to learn from the people of Salem's example, and if we can bring them some joy in return through the only trade we know, we could ask for nothing more.
The city upon a hill, huh? I can see that you mean well. And given what happened in that little tussle earlier, I can see that you want to blend into our town without causing trouble. Even if you are a bit on the unusual side. That said, I don't want you leading us into temptation. People say that we Puritans hate plays and novels and dancing, but that's giving us too much credit. It's not wrong, but it's not quite right either. We do our best to minimize those distractions in our lives precisely because we're drawn to them. Every child knows that plays are fun and exciting, and this tavern certainly sees its share of people coming in looking to relax and enjoy themselves. The people of this village purposefully go around turning blind eyes to each other's failings as long as they only involve a glass of hard cider. We are all of us frail vessels, so we do not invite further temptation into our lives. That is my concern about your troop.
Hard cider is pretty great stuff.
I understand that as performers, we may not be welcome. But does that mean that we're not allowed to be here at all?
That's not my decision to make. But if you're willing to demonstrate what sort of play you mean to put on, that might go a long way towards changing the people of Salem's mind. If you insist on performing, I'd be willing to speak to the Reverend and other respected villagers on your behalf. Why not try putting on a small show just for them and getting approval from the village that way?
I see. Senpai, I think this could be a good opportunity.
Definitely.
If you refuse to do so and mean to ply your trade without regards to the villagers' sense of piety, then I would prefer that you leave. The barkeep tells me you're guests of Professor Carter. All the more so in that case. If you don't want to be hauled out before the judge, you should go somewhere that's more welcoming to outsiders, like Rhode Island or Pennsylvania. This is Massachusetts. Ours may be a small village, but the eyes of God and His justice are upon us all. I don't want to see anyone hanged here.
Hanged? Hold up now, slow down.
About 4 years ago, I think it was, I saw a criminal hanged in Boston's town square. There was talk of witches and foul play. Perhaps you heard about it yourselves.
Oh, witches, you say? Now that's something we'd like to hear all about.
Finally, something relevant to the mission. If I may, Senpai, I think that we should do as this man asks, or suggests. It's a good opportunity and would and would make our investigation considerably easier.
I guess this is a kind of test then.
I'll do everything I can to help, of course. I believe that there is a play in the book Anderson gave us that should be perfect. If it's alright with you, Senpai, shall we go with that one?
Alright, let's do it.
Understood. Then I'll speak to the man and request his assistance. Now we should head back to our room and get ready to perform. Oh, and if you're wondering about Abby, I escorted her back to the town center. She was a little shaken up by the gunshots, but she regained her composure soon enough. At least I think that she did.
Abigail shows signs of post-traumatic stress disorder. You know what play they should do? Macbeth!
How long has it been since I last saw a play?
What a waste of time. What a waste of perfectly good lamp oil. What nonsense is this? We worked so hard to build our town hall and to fill it with such frivolity. I don't even see the Reverend here. Where is he?
I'm told he had to attend to someone who fell ill and can't make it tonight, but this should be enough. All right, Ringmaster Gouda, we're all here. Go ahead and start the show.
Got it. Just let me check on the actors.
Okay, everyone, remember, just like we planned, you should already be familiar with the play from looking it over at Caldia. We may not have been able to bring the actual script, but you should all have your lines from the notes I gave you. Matahari, you'll play the Queen of Sheba. A strikingly flamboyant role, Sounds right up my alley. Robin, you'll play King Solomon.
Yeah.
And of course, Ringmaster will lead everyone through the production. You'll have multiple roles, so you're going to be busy.
This is pretty nerve-wracking.
That's true. To be honest, I'm getting very nervous myself, and I'm not even performing. I'll be helping out from the side of the stage, as the narrator and the prompter. I did have important things to do back at the house, you know. This is part of our mission, Medea.
That's right. We need to let these people get to know all of us, albeit carefully. That said, I'm only a bit player this time around. Don't screw this up, Robin. I don't know why they picked me. I said I was fine being a tree. Why do I keep feeling like someone's staring at me?
The gaze of our audience. Act now or not at all. Show off.
Gee. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule for my guests, Your Honor.
I am not here as a drama critic. I will not judge the quality of the performance. It would hardly be fair of me to go around espousing Puritan values, after all. I will merely be determining whether this production is suited for the good Christian people of Salem.
A perfectly sensible choice. Can you tell me what the company will be performing today, Miss Mash?
Of course, Mr. Carter. Tonight we will be performing a story from Scripture. Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. Well, that sounds lovely. I can't wait. I'm afraid we don't have any velvet curtains, but please go ahead and get started. Ahem. Good evening, distinguished guests, and thank you for accepting our invitation. On behalf of the Gouda Company, I would like to say that we cannot express our gratitude to you for taking your time to be here this evening. Tonight, we will be performing a story about the most enigmatic queen in the Bible. She was the queen of a prosperous southern nation, somewhere south of Arabia, or perhaps to the east of Africa. This queen was drawn to King Solomon, known far and wide for his peerless wisdom, and decided to journey across the desert to meet him. Tell me, do you know what a true desert is like? An endless sea of sand that stretches across past and out past the horizon. A land of death where not a single drop of water can be found. To cross it, the queen ordered hundreds of camels accompanied by thousands of soldiers and attendants to form a single-file procession. Each camel was laden with incredible treasures, gold, jewels, and precious frankincense. Our story begins with the queen perched on a camel surveying her procession. Oh, how depressing. I don't mind traveling by camel, but what will I do if I travel all the way to Jerusalem and still cannot meet with King Solomon?
Why does this weigh on you so, Your Majesty? You have thought of nothing else for these entire 2 months of travel. We are 2 days away from the Red Sea harbor, and Jerusalem is still further. Besides, see for yourself what mountains of treasures you bring. 120 talents of gold, more than even 20 camels can carry. Sapphires, amber, opals, garnets, and other precious jewels, the finest frankincense our nation has. Never before has such a vast array of treasure been seen on such a journey across the desert. More even than that, Your Majesty's beauty is renowned far and wide. King or not, there is no man alive who would refuse you.
Is that so? I'm not so sure about that. These treasures are merely tokens of my good intentions to show the people that I'm trustworthy. The true cargo I bear lies within my heart. For this man was born to be king and has been blessed by God himself.
I'm afraid that I do not understand. This man may be a great king, but he is still just a man. If you flatter him, he will grow conceited. If you appeal to his greed, riches will blind him. If he is truly born to be a king, is that not all the more reason for him to rest on the laurels of his lineage? It is true that Israel is much more peaceful and far easier to trade with now than it was under its previous king. But I still have my doubts about his wisdom.
Keep such thoughts to yourself now that the harbor is in sight. One never knows where the ears of the king might be lurking.
As you wish. What is this? Caravan leader, something is amiss at the head of the procession. It appears to be an ambush by bandits. They never learn, do they? We should be nearing an oasis. Thieves often congregate in such areas, so I expected some issues as we drew near. Some poor fools cannot resist the temptation of our caravan offers and the possibility of its riches.
If you expected as much, then I trust that you have prepared for such attacks. Is there anything that I can do to help drive them off?
Surely you jest, Your Majesty. Rest assured that all is taken care of. We have plenty of capable fighters at our command. These fighters do not work merely for money. They are warriors for honor, faithful to queen and country. I will send them out alongside our own soldiers post-haste.
My, but aren't we pompous all of a sudden? But very well then. I leave you and your fighters to your task.
I see that we're incorporating actual combat into this play. That's how you know it's going to be successful.
愚かな。具体的にどこがと言われると困りますが、愚かな。
つまんない連中だな。じゃあこういうのどうだ？つまんない連中だな。他にや
我が
ることないの？
身はホルスなりし、ファラオなれば。気が合いますね。
Waganawa Megumi, I mean Horus.
暗黒の定め、扉となり、恐怖をここへ。アントゥーネブタジュセル。
That's right, we fit an entire desert into that church for the production value.
くるくるくるくる回るとは、行き着く先は鍋の中。大逆には死を。
Yay, nursery rhyme.
さあ、一緒に遊びましょう。
あ、
ミトクリスの鏡を見たいのですね。繰り返す押し返す草のしおり。すべての塔はお友達よ。屍の鏡、暗黒の定め、扉となり、恐怖をここへ。アントゥーネブタジュセル。
Man, these Salem people's minds must be being blown seeing the souls of the damned come from a mirror and destroy these actors. Cursory rhyme. Team Pharaoh.
Thanks to their capable bodyguards, the Queen's procession easily fended off their attackers. Soon after resuming their journey to Jerusalem, the procession arrived at the Red Sea harbor. The harbor was packed with throngs of camels, and there was a lively din sounding left and right from merchants awaiting ships and cargo. The Queen's caravan rented hundreds of ships and then set sail for the north of the Red Sea. In time, the massive fleet arrived upon the northern edge of the Gulf of Aqaba at a seaport called Ezion Geber, built by King Solomon himself. The people of Israel were surely taken aback by the appearance of this mysterious queen and the untold wealth she brought with her. This magnificent scene of the queen meeting King Solomon has been depicted in countless numbers of painted masterpieces. The queen's procession headed northward, over land, their eyes taking in the pastures of the foreign country that surrounded them. Then, at last, they arrived at a point where they could just barely make out Jerusalem's glittering white ramparts. And yet, something seemed amiss.
This is ridiculous. I can't take it anymore.
You seem upset, my retainer.
Yes, Your Majesty, I am. We've been stuck in this village within the ravine for an entire week. If we don't get moving soon, the soldiers and camel tamers will start to get homesick.
What say the messengers we sent ahead to Jerusalem?
I sent them countless times, Your Majesty. I even went to try and negotiate our entry myself. It's just, the guards keep inventing reasons to turn us away at the gate. They're hopeless. Even showing them a list of all the gifts we bring for King Solomon has done little more than warrant a smirk.
I see. Then perhaps it's time that I met with them myself. Tell the caravan to loosen their loads and make themselves at ease.
Your Majesty!
Your Majesty, please, you mustn't go off on your own. There's a flock of sheep coming this way. I'll have the guards chase them off. No need for that. This is not our kingdom, so we shall be the ones to make our own way. My, these sheep are so nice and plump, and their wool is soft and well kept. This is indeed a rich land.
Well now, it isn't every day one comes across such an esteemed noble. Good day to you. Stay back! Who are you? As you can see, I'm merely a passing shepherd. A harmless, friendly young man who enjoys nothing more than singing and dancing. Are shepherds so rare where you come from?
No, they are not. I do beg your pardon.
You must be the travelers that have been staying here in this ravine. Why, this place is ill-suited to making camp. Have you run into some manner of trouble on your journey?
You're quite perceptive, young shepherd. As luck would have it...
Oh, I see. That is certainly odd. Jerusalem is supposed to be a city of compassion, a place that will open its gates to anyone. How terribly embarrassing that it has seen fit to reject guests who have traveled from so far away.
Can you tell us what Jerusalem is like, young shepherd? What do you think of the great king's city?
Well now, I can hardly refuse to answer a question from such a beautiful lady, can I?
Your Majesty, surely there are far better ways to pass the time than in the company of this ill-mannered youth. What's wrong with it? I'm having a perfectly lovely time.
Unfortunately, I haven't been to the city myself in quite a while, but I do hear rumors from time to time. Jerusalem is a city like no other. It is truly the center of the world. Its ramparts stand tall against any threat, and its palace is the height of luxury. I believe its most beautiful texture is the temple its previous king wished to build really, really badly. They say it's a truly impressive sight. I implore you to pay a visit yourself after you arrive, my lady. Yeah, that previous king, he sure was a really cool guy. I hear he was the coolest even. And everyone loved him.
I think that I shall do just that. What about the people who live there? Have they no complaints at all?
Oh, that's a good question. I suppose I must simply say that it seems the king is doing a superb job. Each and every one of his people speaks of him with reverence, with language as lyrical as poetry. They say that he is a fair and just judge, possessed of true wisdom, that he was born to be the perfect king,
True wisdom.
But ripe fruit inevitably draws pests. The fruit itself may not be to blame, but alas, there is nothing more that one can do about the laws of nature. Thus, do security and abundance inevitably lead to avarice and arrogance?
I knew it. Your Majesty?
Wait, does this mean the gatekeepers expect us to bribe them? Even after our messengers have long since paid our toll. Well, I'm afraid there isn't much a lowly shepherd like me could do about that. The best I can do is join you in conversation here in the shade for a fleeting moment. Oh, unless you would also like me to play my harp.
No, that will do. Thank you very much, my good shepherd. By the way, I noticed a number of your sheep have injured their legs. Could I buy them off of you, so that I may treat my subjects to them?
Well, that would be a great help. I couldn't think of a more advantageous trade for us both. Oh, right. I just remembered something else that you may find of interest. It's perhaps a bit spooky, but... spooky.
Hidden gates, you say?
That's right, gates. Jerusalem is a big place with many people coming and going. As such, the ramparts contain a number of side gates. A holy gate reserved for God, a gate for chariots, a gate for merchants, a gate for slaves, even a gate for shepherds. And while I don't know whether it really exists or not, I've also heard there's a forbidden gate for ruach, for spirits. They say it's dark even during the day and that the dead themselves make use of it. It's always closed and barred, and no one, not even the guards, go near it.
Thus did the Queen of Sheba learn of the hidden gate into Jerusalem from a mysterious young shepherd. The queen next stole away to Jerusalem in the middle of the night, taking only a select few of her servants. She decided that if the front gates would not be opened by her, then she would simply sneak in the back. None of this is written in Holy Scripture, but please do not call it heresy. No matter how our company may use our imagination to help bring this story to life, it would do nothing to diminish King Solomon's greatness or the Queen of Sheba's beauty.
Man, this is definitely a very Shakespearean play. The way that this is written. Good viewers, if you do not find these themes that have been presented to you savory, just imagine that this entire play put before you was not more than an unsavory dream. A Midsummer's Night's Dream. Good old Shakespeare. Yo, dog, if you didn't like my shit, pretend you didn't watch it.
If the guards would refuse us passage, then we shall make our own passage into the city.
Ha! As if crossing a great desert wasn't brazen enough. I never imagined you to be so reckless a queen. Ah!
These must be some of the city's guards, so this is another trial that we must face. If our actions go against the will of God, then this is where our journey will come to an end.
Please, stand back, Your Majesty. The soldiers will handle this. Loud scree. Seeing as our play characters are crossing the desert, having our Egyptian duo is perfect for the situation. Wouldn't you say so, chat?
つまんない連中だな。他にやることつまんない連中だな。他にやることないつまんない連中だな。 他にやること
我が
ないな。
身のホルスなりしファラオなれば。仕方ありませんね。可愛い資料が出ません。屍の鏡、暗黒の鏡、扉となり恐怖をここへ。アントゥーネブタジュセル。大逆には死を。
地上にあってファラオに不可能なし、万物万象我が手中にあり。
よーし。
気が合いますね。屍の鏡、暗黒の鏡、扉となり恐怖をここへ。アントゥーネブタジュセル。
ファラオの真意を見るがいい。ファラオの真意を見るがいい。
You know what? Thinking about it, we probably brought one of the worst possible people into this play by bringing Ozymandias. After all, he calls himself the sun god. In fact, his summoning note is the ever-famous quote, "Almighty gods, look upon my works and despair."
褒美をよかろう。全能の神よ、我が業を見よ。そして平服せよ。ラムセウムテンティリス。もろいもろい。ファラオに歯向かう愚か者めが。
最上に近い勝利だけど。
Almighty gods, witness my work, and then fall prostrate to my infinite brilliance. I'm sure that Salem really liked. It's okay, Madge said this wasn't canon. That's true. Hey, look, they're in Camelot now.
And so, the Queen of Sheba's procession fought off the guardian spirits and successfully made their way into Jerusalem. Soon the king learned that a foreign queen had entered the holy city, and the front gates were finally opened. Thus did the parade of camels and ostentatiously dressed attendants make their way through Jerusalem. Though the people of Jerusalem were accustomed to luxury, the riches that the queen presented to the king must surely have made even their eyes pop. The lavish spices they brought with them also proved to be incredibly popular, and soon the holy city was filled with their scents. Shortly thereafter, the queen was officially invited to the palace, and at long last granted an audience with King Solomon himself.
How good of you to come, Queen of Sheba. On behalf of my subjects, I welcome you. I extend my hospitality to you and your people. Please, stay in my palace. Rest from your journey.
It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Good King Solomon. Now that this moment has come, the fatigue from my journey has all but vanished.
I know who you are. This may be our first time meeting face to face, but I have had opportunities to learn about you. Without fail, the finest jewels and spices brought to Jerusalem come from the southern kingdoms. I have spoken to merchants and travelers about them, interested to know more. They told me of a queen from a desert kingdom in the south with a sure eye and a nose for trade. Until last night, my image of that queen was hazy and blurred, like a mirage. But now, I see that she is a beautiful desert flower beyond compare.
You are too kind, King Solomon. If anything, I am the one in awe of how your grand figure far exceeds the picture I held in my mind.
I apologize for the treatment that you endured on your journey here, Queen of Sheba. I shall find out how it came to pass and see that justice is served, should it be necessary. If it please you, I shall give you a tour of the palace myself. Will that serve as an apology?
A tour from King Solomon himself? I could think of no greater pleasure.
Of course. The pleasure will be mine, I assure you. I don't believe that dialogue at all. There's no way that Romani was that smooth. I mean, Solomon was that smooth. I met the guy.
The two rulers proceeded to walk around Jerusalem's palace, chatting happily all the while. Every one of the dances performed, the harp songs played, and the dishes served was truly exquisite. But the place that the Queen of Sheba was most impressed with was indeed the very building the Good Shepherd had told her about. The magnificent Temple of Jerusalem stood even taller than the king's own palace. Atop its great altar, burnt offerings were made to the god. There, sacrificial animals and other splendid offerings were consumed by sacred fire. Once these offerings were chosen to become God's food, the frankincense, which would later be chosen as one of the 3 wise men's gifts, was burned like firewood. While bearing witness to these amazing spectacles, the Queen casually posed King Solomon a series of questions. Indeed, these very questions were the Queen's purpose in venturing to Jerusalem. The quest begun in the hope of appraising the King's kingdom, the King's wisdom, distinguishing his worth, and gaining a true answer to questions she had long pondered. Some scholars say that the Queen had only 2 questions, while others claim she had as many as 19. Whatever their number, King Solomon answered each in turn, and the Queen marveled at his wisdom. And in that moment, she decided to entrust King Solomon with the 3 most precious riddles she carried deep in her heart. Solomon in turn honored his noble guest by having his many retainers line up along both sides of his throne. So began a battle of wits to test the merits of both rulers. There could be no room for failure. As silence hung in the throne room, the audience watched with bated breath. Great King Solomon, leader of the people of Israel and bearer of boundless wisdom, I humbly request that you answer these questions and share your wisdom with your guests.
Very well. Speak your questions.
There is a room with 10 doors. When 1 door is open, 9 are closed. When 9 doors are open, 1 door is closed.
The answer is a person. The room is the womb, and the 10 doors are the eyes, ears, nose, mouth, navel, and excretory holes. When a person is a fetus, the door of the navel is open. Once they are born, that door is closed forever.
O king, you are wise indeed.
Speak your next question.
Very well then, O king. Let me ask you this. These words weigh more than gold or even life itself and require 4 people to carry them. And yet their master has never once seen them.
The answer is the Ark of the Covenant. The very chest I inherited from my predecessor. It contains the 10 Commandments, the proof of our covenant with God. It is kept in the innermost chambers of my temple, a most holy room that is constantly filled with incense.
O king, you are truly a man of wisdom.
Speak your next question.
Very well then, O king. This is my final question. This ocean is calm. A ship sails forwards against the wind. The ship's pilot plots a course toward dark clouds. The ship is in no way prepared to weather a storm.
Let's see. The answer is... Hang on, time out. Just give me a second here. Calm ocean, a ship pilot. What's this all about? Hold on, just a moment. I can answer this.
Oh yes, great king. Please, tell me your answer. What's the matter, Solomon? Hurry up and answer her 3rd question.
I'm trying, but my script only had 2 riddles.
That can't be right. Wait, I don't see it in mine either. What's going on? I could have sworn Anderson's manuscript had all 3. Huh? Huh? What is this? Don't tell me that the great King Solomon cannot even answer a simple riddle. Well, what say you, your majesty? I'm following my script to the letter, okay? I don't have any response lines in mine either.
Damn it, Matahari. I can tell you're enjoying this. Yeah, I've got your answer right here. Why wouldn't I know it? Solomon knows everything.
Please, stay in character.
Oh. That riddle was so easy, it's not even worthy of an answer. What say you, my trusted advisor? Would you like to answer this one in my stead? You may even just offer a hint if you would like. Wait, me? Why are the scripts different? Come on, Ringmaster, help me out here.
Senpai?
Does it perhaps have to do with the desert? The desert? Why? Actually, hang on. Desert, sand, an ocean of sand, eh?
What say you, O king?
A fascinating riddle. It cuts to the very core of our 2 perspectives. If I answer incorrectly, then Israel will lose a precious friend indeed. The answer is a nation. When a capable sailor takes the helm, the wind may carry him faster than ever. Much as the sea might appear the same everywhere, it is far from a single thing. It is made of numberless droplets altogether. Even when it appears calm, its surface hides unforeseeable waves and maelstroms. It is like the grains of sand that make up a desert, like quicksand lying in wait for its prey.
Very well then, O king. Where lies the ship's destination?
This ship stops for nothing. But it is not a ship that runs from danger, nor one that drifts upon the waves. It is but driftwood that will sink in the fullness of time. The pilot knows that an unavoidable storm is coming, and sounds the alarm. Only a ship that endures tribulation will see the glorious light of day that awaits in the new world.
O king, you are indeed a wise leader, worthy of this nation.
Queen of Sheba, I pray that the Lord, our God, sees fit to bless you with his protection. You are no mere guest destined to while away her time before my throne. Though your kingdom may be but a mirage that lies in the distant south, I hereby vow that our two nations shall be allies, and you, my friend.
You are too kind, O king, but I am most heartened that my journey here has proved fruitful. Should you ever be in need of aid, in an even greater endeavor, I shall return from beyond the desert and assist you to the best of my ability. Thus did King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba's battle of wits come to an end. With more awe and respect for Solomon than ever before, the Queen set off to return to her home of Sheba. Solomon, in turn, was happy to give the Queen exactly the gift she wished for. As for what became of the prosperous desert kingdom, of the bond between King Solomon and its queen, no biblical scholar can say. All we can do now is imagine the fate of such a legendary queen for ourselves. Yay! Thank you all very much for watching. This concludes the Gouda Company's special performance of Solomon and the Queen of Sheba.
Clap, chat. Clap, you filthy mongrels.
So this is the Puritan colony of Salem.
Hey, just a moment, sir. Oh, we finally managed to dock. You're the only cargo we're unloading here, sir. It's certainly fine by me, though, since you already paid for passage. Pretty rough storm we had to sail through to get here, though. You doing all right?
I am on land now. My work is on land where man lives and works. There is no land inhabited by man here or anywhere that is free of sin. Not even Eden itself. Professor Carter, there are people from the village who'd like to see you. They seem pretty upset. There's a good number of them, too.
I see. Very well, I will go and meet them. Pardon me for a moment, Mr. Gouda.
They're asking to see you too, Your Honor.
What is this all about? You have a lot to answer for, Mr. Carter.
Uncle, Tituba is...
Abigail? And you're here too, Tituba.
Mr. Carter...
Did these people bring you here? Again, what is this all about? May I remind you that Tituba is my servant. I will thank you to mind how you treat her. Fine. Then listen to me, Mr. Carter. My daughter has been lying face down in bed, ill all day. I know when you stopped by this morning, I told you she was just tired out from last night's excitement. I thought she'd be fine once she got some sleep, but I was wrong. She kept groaning and writhing, as if she was fighting off a terrible fever. I tried to give her some bread and water to help her calm down, but she refused. I was at a loss for what to do next, so I asked the Reverend to come take a look at her. But once he arrived, she seemed to be suffering more than ever. And how so exactly? Well, Reverend. Appears the Reverend is his twin brother. Yes, it seemed to me as if she was possessed by the devil himself. She cried out with a shrill, inhuman voice and tried to strangle me with such strength as no child should ever have. We held her down as best we could until she finally passed out and went limp. We then went to change her sheets and found this strange and devilish charm within the straw. According to Putnam's daughter, it was Tituba who made it.
Oh, rabble, 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 rabble.
What an evil-looking wooden figure. I'll take that as evidence.
Is this true, Tituba? Did you make that?
Mr. Carter, well... You've got it all wrong. This isn't Tituba's fault. Anne took it without asking. We could hear the commotion from all the way inside. What's going on?
It looks like most of the village is here. Is that Tituba they're interrogating in the middle of the crowd? I always knew there was something strange about you.
Oh, this is dreadful. You don't suppose... Were you the one who had those Indians kill the Williamses?
Stop that. The Williams girl is right there.
You're a witch!
That is a tool used in blasphemous curses. I suspect this woman is guilty of heresy. Who are you? My name is Matthew Hopkins. I just arrived here on a boat from Boston. As of tonight, I've been appointed Salem's head judge by order of the governor. Who do you think you are, barging in here all... What's this? Oh my, this really is an official notice of appointment. And that of a superior judge, no less. I apologize for my rudeness. Pay it no mind. These are extraordinary circumstances. People of Salem, I first ask that you calm yourselves and regain your composure. The devil's power is at its height in the hours after dark. We must not let our fears guide our decisions. I hereby order that this slave be taken into custody and interrogated. I will hear what she has to say in the morning.
I have to do something! The chocolate is in danger.
Don't do it, Master. Please, just stay out of it. You can't interfere here. You need to remain a bystander right now, or you'll get swept up in this as well.
You said the S word? Yeah. He didn't sugarcoat what she is in this world.
Medea? What do you mean, Medea? Totally Medea. Can't you tell? It's begun.
I'm glad to see that you are willing to cooperate. Mr. Carter, as her owner, I'd like you to accompany her to the town's holding cell.
All right, I will accompany you.
Mr. Carter!
Miss Mash, Mr. Gouda. I'm sorry to trouble you, but could I ask you to take Abigail home for me? I know I can trust you and your troop. You've all proved that within your play.
Abby. This is awful. Poor Tituba.
Hopkins. There we are, done with Chapter 1. Fantastic. Chapter 1 is a done.